Hey, again, Holiday with you on the Snake, and again, I'm playing with stuff. But this time, not laptops. Actually, two of the premier wireless gaming mice these days. You've got the Logitech G900 wireless Spectrum mouse and Razer's brand new Lancehead mouse. And these two mice are kind of trying to do the same thing, so I thought, since I live on wireless mice and I wouldn't use a touchpad if I didn't have to, it might be worth looking at both of these if you're in the market for one and seeing if either one of these kind of fits what you're looking for. Alright, first let's check out the new Razer mouse. This is the Lancehead. This is a brand new type of mouse for Razer. If you've used Razer mice over the years, you know they've done wireless mice before. But most of the Razer mice in the past had really long, kind of cumbersome receivers that were frankly probably meant more for desktops only. It was really kind of an issue to use on a laptop. But anyway, this one has its own USB receiver, as you can see. And I like the ergonomics of this. I'm always afraid of saying, oh, well, this mouse feels better than another mouse because everybody has, you know, their own grips and their own preferences. But this, if you've used the Death Adder or some of the other mice, this is kind of a similar shape. The buttons on the side are very comfortable. You've got your forward and back, and you got your DPI settings that you can manipulate on the top of the mouse. Up to a 16,000 DPI is what this mouse will do. And so far, I'm real pleased with it. I think it's one of, if not the best wireless mice that I've ever used. And I'm definitely glad to see Razer go with the USB receiver, the smaller one, so that those of us that use laptops can actually use this and not have to drag a big cord around. Okay, this has been my go-to mouse, my daily driver for the past several months, the Logitech G900 Spectrum. Again, same little USB receiver that Razer has now adopted. I've loved the Logitech mice for reliability and for responsiveness. As you can see, this is a little bit more of a kind of an ambidextrous mouse as opposed to the Razer, which to me has been a little bit more of a right-handed mouse. This fits my grip just fine. And I definitely love the size of the forward and back buttons on the side. You got all sorts of different sniping buttons, DPI things that you can mess with on the top. I really don't go into that a whole lot, but it is nice that it's there. And I also don't use the color cycling, this color spectrum stuff. I prefer to save battery, but I've got it on so you can see what it can do. Again, very similar to the Razer. As far as the color things go, not as many zones of lighting on this. I think they've got the DPI area and obviously the Logitech logo, and that's pretty much it. But this is up to a 12,000 DPI mouse, and it's been extremely reliable, and like I said, it's been what I've been using here for the past several months. Okay, for a lot of you, this is going to come down to the software. As far as if you're looking for a wireless mouse and it's this level of mouse you're looking for, a lot of times the configuration of the software is going to be a make or break thing. This is the Razer Synapse interface. You can customize a whole ton of things on this mouse. You've got your performance. As you can see, you can go anywhere from 100 all the way up to 16,000 DPI. You can work with mouse acceleration. You've got your polling rate, and I've got it set right in the middle at 500. And look at some of the other things. You've got your different lighting profiles. You can actually, you know, change the sensitivity of the lightings and adjust different things on and off. There's special calibration, your power, as far as you can set your sleep mode. And this has been, I remember there was a Razer, I'm trying to think of the one, the Orochi, I think, was notorious for going into sleep mode after like 3 seconds. It was really annoying. So I'm really glad to see Razer build into the Synapse software the fact you can actually enter your own sleep mode, and you can also set at what level you want the middle scroll wheel on the mouse to start blinking when the battery gets low. And I'll get into battery a little bit too. The Razer mouse, I have found I'm getting probably 3 days of battery life with the lighting on, and that's pretty good. Trying to see some of the other things. There's obviously macro things if you're into that. Don't do anything with the Chroma apps. One other thing to mention about Razer is I know they've got Synapse 3 that is coming soon. I'm not sure what soon means, if that means, you know, this year or whatever. And I haven't really looked into what Synapse 3 is going to do different than 2. But do know that Razer does have new software coming. It is nice. You can actually set a profile and log in with your email address and password into your Razer account, and that way this mouse will actually remember from machine to machine what settings you prefer. Okay, this is the Logitech gaming software, and I'll apologize ahead of time that this is kind of small. I'm zoomed in as far as I can zoom in. This is a 4K screen, so everything's a little small. But I think you kind of get the idea. Logitech gaming software, again, very similar to Razer. You've got all sorts of different, you can set up different profiles for different polling rates. I always tend to kind of gravitate towards around 3000 DPI, but that's just me. You've got different lighting settings. Not quite as much on the Logitech as you have on the Razer. Really, only two areas, and that is this logo area, and then you've also got your your DPI area as well. As far as anything you can configure, it's not really the most colorful mouse in the world. So if color is really a priority, then this is a no-brainer. You're going to want to grab the new Razer mouse. But I do like this mouse, and to be fair, this mouse has been out for quite a while. Razer just came out with the Lancehead in the past month. I find the battery life on this Logitech, I'm getting, I think it says, what, 26, 28 hours or something left. I generally use it without lighting on because I just don't care about the lighting, and I get about 3 days of charge. So it's not really a big deal because I'll just leave my mouse charging overnight, and then when I get up the next day, then unplug it and I'm good to go for another 3 days. Battery life has been similar. I will say it does seem like the Razer has a little bit better battery life, especially considering that I've been running it with the colors on. But not a ton you can do with the Logitech gaming software. It does seem like the Synapse software is a little bit more complete. But again, both of these mice are prime. You're not really going to go wrong with either one, I don't think. Okay, so some other things to consider here. You got the price factor. You've got the Logitech Spectrum, last time I checked, still going for $149. The Lancehead has come to market at $139. Now, you're going to be able to find sales on this at Best Buy or Amazon on occasion, but generally speaking, that's the price you're looking at. So the Razer just a tiny bit more affordable. Battery life, again, very similar, although I'm going to give the nod to Razer by maybe an extra half day of battery life, and that's with lighting compared to not using lighting on the Logitech. Again, the bottom line for you is going to definitely come down to your grip. If you're a left-handed person, you're almost certainly going to probably pick the Logitech. It's kind of the good middle ground mouse. On the other hand, if you love the customizability of your colors and you want something that's just a little bit more, maybe a little bit more snappy, if you're going to do high DPI stuff, do FPS stuff, then you're probably going to want the Razer. You're not going to go wrong either way. I've actually become really partial to the silver finish that's on the Razer for some reason, and it's knowing my preferences is probably a stupid reason, but it's comfortable to me, and I also like the contour that you get around the mouse buttons. But again, personal preference aside, you're not going to go wrong with either mouse. They're both extremely expensive, but this is the main way. If you're like me and you don't use a touchpad much, the mouse is what it's all about as far as interacting with your computer. So I don't like cutting corners on mice. That's why I definitely look at the high-end wireless mice. I don't like a cord either. Either way, you're not going to go wrong. Definitely, if you're not familiar with it, research the Razer Lancehead, because if you have used or have been considering the Logitech mouse, I think you're going to find a lot to like in the Razer Lancehead. Again, if you have questions or anything else, just leave in the comments and I'll try to address them in a future video. Thanks again.